Hey friends, what's up? Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. You saw by the title of the video what time it is. It's time to check out some classy fragrances for some upper class gentlemen. Now you may be saying, but wait a second, you're in a t-shirt. A t-shirt that you bought from Express. No, not just Express, an Express outlet store. You can't be talking about gentlemanly fragrances. Where's your suit? And I would say to you, my friend, I have suits, but I'm not gonna put on a dress shirt and a suit and a tie and then have shorts on underneath this table and make believe. So instead you're getting the t-shirt, deal with it. But believe it or not, I have worked in office type situations for years. And I know what makes a good classy fragrance. And that's what we're talking about. 10 different ones. These are bangers. Let's jump into it. Let's check them out. So yeah, guys, these 10 fragrances right here are gonna have you smelling awesome, have you smelling like $1 million, very classy, very gentlemanly, very versatile, these scents. And we have a good mix of niche and designer fragrances. So a little bit of something for everybody in here. Now, like usual, I'm gonna hit you with a couple codes before we jump into it, but it's gonna be so quick and painless, you're not even gonna notice. TwistedLily.com, LuckyScent.com, use the code GENTS10, save yourself 10% off those websites. They got niche fragrances. Niche fragrances are not cheap. That'll save you 10%. Sometimes 10% adds up to a lot when you're talking niche. And then JomoShop.com, the code is GENTS8, save yourself $8 off any order over $110. That's a fragrance discounter, of course, so they have fragrances for way cheaper. But a lot of those goodies you can only get at Lucky Scent or Twisted Lily. Fragrance number 1, here we go. We're kicking it off with the Dior, and we're going Sauvage. We're going Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, some of you may say, no, man, you can't go with the Sauvage. And I would say, yeah, you absolutely can. As long as it's this one. The other ones are fine too. But if we're talking just the classiest of the bunch, it's Elixir, and it ain't close. Licorice, lavender, cinnamon, and nutmeg, along with sandalwood, some of the notes in the fragrance. Elixir does something very, very well, better than most any other fragrance that's tried it. They take something from the past. This smells very clearly inspired by fragrances from the 80s, and then it makes it modern and trendy and wearable again. So you have this old school masculinity to it, but it doesn't come across too old school. It's a really good thing what they've done here, because you can really screw it up when you try to do that, and it can come across smelling like something that nobody wants to wear, because anybody younger is gonna say, nah, it smells like my grandpa or whatever, you know, they just write it off. And then older guys will say, nah, that's Sauvage, I don't even wanna mess with that. But they pull it off here. Sauvage Elixir is awesome. The only drawback is pretty pricey. After that one, Ormonde Man from Ormonde Jane. This is a personal favorite of mine. Really nice, classy, woodsy fragrance. And it has a bit of a fresh aromatic tinge to it as well. So it doesn't go too heavy, even though it is very, very, like I said, woody. It has cedar in here. It has hemlock. It has cardamom. It has pink pepper. It has juniper, as some of those spices. Ormonde Man is a fragrance that doesn't get talked about too often, but it really should, because the versatility of this fragrance is through the roof, and I think it smells absolutely amazing. After that, we're going to jump right into an absolute classic when you're talking about classy men's fragrances, a modern classic. It's from Chanel. It's Platinum Egoiste, and I've gone through multiple bottles of this stuff. Like, this is an office space staple, but not just an office fragrance. You can use this just about any time you want, and you can pull it off. It has geranium, has oak moss, has lavender and rosemary. So those notes there give you an idea of how it's going to come across. Very clean, but not like an overly soapy clean. It's a little bit metallic, but in a very, very pleasant way. Obviously overshadowed for most people by the Bleu de Chanel line, by the Allure line, but this stuff is magic. Platinum Egoiste is fantastic. Oh, a personal favorite next, Nishane Sultan Vetiver. Yeah, this is like a vetiver lover like me. It's like their dream, which is why it's a favorite of mine, in case you didn't catch on. So this one I picked up at full retail when I visited a niche perfumery up in Montreal, Canada. They had a whole bunch of awesome fragrances there, and I was sniffing around, got to this one, and it just really blew me away, so I picked it up on the spot. It has vetiver, leather, neroli, and bergamot, and the best part about the vetiver in the fragrance is that it's multiple different types of vetiver. So you're getting like the whole smorgasbord of ways that vetiver can come across in this scent, all in one. It's like shampoo and conditioner combined. You get the idea though. You're getting it all, baby, all of it. So it's fresh, it's a little green, it's a little smoky, it's woody, it's grassy, it's all of the above, and it has this nice little bit of sweetness that helps contrast that. Ultra classy, fantastic fragrance. My favorite from the house, I know everybody will say, you know, Ani or Hasavad, and those are great too, but I'm a sucker for Vetiver. And that's not the last Vetiver scent here because Vetiver just works. It's one of those classy types of notes, as long as it's used correctly. Next up, another Dior Homme 2020. Now, I know what some of you out there will say with this one. You'll say, nah, man, the original Dior Homme, that's the way to go. That one's classier, or even Dior Homme Intense. But I think when you're talking versatility, the Dior Homme 2020, I hate to say it, but it kind of blows the original Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense out of the water. Don't take that as me saying that this is better than the original. I don't think it is, but I do think this is really good. And we've talked about that ad nauseum, how much I hated this originally, but I came around. Isoe Super Cashmere and Cedar, along with bergamot and pink pepper, some of the notes in the fragrance. The woodiness here, not the same way as it comes across in Ormonde Man. Ormonde Man, a little bit more realistic, whereas this is gonna come across more fresh and modern with a bit of a spicy kick. People do love this though. It does smell very classy, and the versatility is just about unmatched. This fragrance you can wear all season, day, night, doesn't matter. Now the fragrance that made me want to do this video. So this one has been sitting kind of in the back of this house's part of my collection for a while, like a long while. And then I remembered, man, I haven't worn that and I couldn't even tell you how long. So I pulled it out, sprayed it on, and I was just like hit with the scent. And I remembered, man, this is an awesome one. A really gentlemanly fragrance that is completely passed up nowadays. Passed up as in people don't mention it. It's Beloved Man from Amouage. And I can still remember really wanting this when it came out because it was one of the more expensive fragrances for men. So this one had a higher MSRP than most all the other ones that were out at the time. So I was like, oh, Beloved Man, more expensive, more exclusive, it must be better. Then I eventually got my hands on it and gave it some wears. Elemi, Iris, Cedar, and Leather are some of the notes in the fragrance here, along with a little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of vetiver as well. It's different than most of the other Amouage fragrances, especially the ones that were out at the time, because this one isn't hardcore with a ton of woods and very dark and resinous and incensey and all the other things you might associate with the house. Instead, this one is more like a fine, gentlemanly office business kind of fragrance. A really good daytime scent, one that works just as well during the night as well. Very smooth. And that iris is a little bit reminiscent to the way it comes across in some of the Prada fragrances, but not quite as powdery. It's really well done. And like I said, it's completely overlooked because it's maybe not quite as immediately arresting as some of the other Amouage fragrances. Like some of those Amouage scents, when you smell it, you're just walloped. You know right away what it is. You're like, oh, that's interlude. Oh, that's jubilation. Oh, that's reflection. You know. This one is a little more low key. And I think for better or worse, it's flown under the radar for quite a while. Okay, office classic time. Grey Vetiver, Tom Ford. Doesn't need too much of an introduction. A lot of times when people ask, hey, what's the best go-to office fragrance that's gonna have me smelling, you know, really gentlemanly, sophisticated, classy, elegant, whatever you wanna say. As much as you might wanna smell elegant going into the office, I don't know. It just came to mind, but then when I thought about it more, I was like, I don't know how many guys are really going for that look necessarily. Yeah, you know, I'm just a elegant kind of guy over here working on these spreadsheets. My TPS reports. But anyway, when guys ask that question, what should I go to? What should I smell? What should I buy? This comes up and Prada L'Homme comes up. So yeah, those are like the first two usually that pop out. For good reason though. This is a very easy to wear vetiver fragrance. It is very classy. It's fresh. It doesn't go too far down that like smoky side, that darker side, that more earthy side of vetiver. Instead, it keeps things pretty clean. Hence the name Grey Vetiver. It is actually how it smells. Like if you could imagine a gray vetiver, it's this. You also have grapefruit in here. You have orange blossom, additional woody notes. Really well done, very high end, but with it being a Tom Ford, it will be expensive, at least compared to your other designer vetivers out there. Let's work a Creed in here. Bois de Portugal. This one, more so than pretty much anything else here, is going to have that throwback kind of masculinity to it. It smells like a classic men's scent. Lavender, sandalwood, cedar, and bergamot, some of the notes in the scent. It's not that it is overly heavy. You know, it's not overly dense. There's a little bit of freshness to it, sure, especially when you first spray it on. But if you were going to picture any of these fragrances as being like the quintessential middle-aged guy's fragrance, or even older, as far as the classy scents we're talking about, it's this. I do think the fragrance smells fantastic, even though it does have that bit of a throwback feel to it. But as long as you enjoy those fragrances from decades gone by, you should absolutely check this out, because it is one of Creed's better scents, especially when we're talking about their classy stuff. Now, this next one is a little bit of a cop-out, because the name of the fragrance is Gentlemen Only. That means nobody else can wear this. It's right here. So if you're not a gentleman, you try to buy this, you're asking for trouble. Fragrance police are going to show up at your house. They're going to kick your door in. They're going to take your collection. They're going to fine you. They might slap on you. No, Gentlemen Only. They'll do bad things to you. They might key your car. They might steal your wheels. Don't risk it. Don't do it. Gentlemen Only. Pink pepper, green mandarin, vetiver, once again, and incense, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one is pretty fresh. And then it has this woody smokiness as well. But the smoke is not overdone. It's that light, very pleasant incense. You know, kind of like the incense you might find in Dylan Blue or Bleu de Chanel or something like that, where the incense isn't there to overtake the fragrance or overwhelm the fragrance. It's just there to accentuate it. It kind of gives a little more life to the fresh spice in here, to the citrus off the top, and especially the vetiver, the cedar, as it dries. This line, unfortunately, is pretty well forgotten at this point. It had a bunch of flankers that are all, you know, the way of the dinosaur and the dodo bird. They're extinct. And now everybody is all about the Gentleman line. Gentleman Eau de Parfum, Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé, all those. Gentlemen Only, not so cool anymore. But this fragrance still works. Smells awesome, very versatile. Good compliment puller too. Last fragrance. Gonna give you one that's a nice classy rose scent. Also sandalwood and pepper and cardamom and caraway. Other notes too, but rose. It's a fragrance that people in the know. They know about it. But people who don't really know about fragrances very much, they're not aware of this one. Cartier, Declaration, Dansois. Really, really nice rose scent. A fresh rose, not heavy, not jammy, not overly powdery, anything like that. So it gives you this great touch of class and sophistication while keeping things fresh and wearable for spring or even summertime use. And it's a great change of pace, because not many men's fragrances, especially in the designer world, are making use of rose in a way that comes across easy to wear, and like I said, very fresh. The only one that pops into my mind without thinking about it too much, other than this one, is L'Homme Ultime. But this one between the two is probably the classier choice. So there we go, guys. 10 fragrances that are real nice, upper class scents, gonna have you smelling like $1,000,000. There are many other ones that I would like to include in this video, other vetiver scents, other fresh scents, other rich, deep, sweet scents. A lot of them, but we got to keep it just at 10 here. So here we go. Let me know in the comments fragrances that you like to wear when you're trying to come across a little upper crusty. Thank you for hanging with me. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.